So The Woman in Cabin 10 is a psychological thriller movie based on the novel of the same name by Ruth Ware, and despite all of the negative reviews around this movie, I thought it was pretty decent. One of the reasons for that is that I feel like this movie is really timely in terms of cruising and luxury yacht experiences have massively increased and rised in popularity, and so because of that, I feel like this movie is actually pretty compelling in terms of turning this dream scenario into an absolute living nightmare. And there is nowhere to run, as she is literally stuck in the middle of the ocean, and this woman is so certain with what she has seen, despite pretty much every single other person around her gaslighting her into making her believe that what she saw is not the truth and that actually she is going insane. And then some terrifying things happen to this lead character, so honestly I feel like they made this movie pretty well. So let's explain the ending. So yes, Lo was correct in terms of witnessing somebody being thrown overboard, and this was the real Anne, as Bullmer found out that actually she wants to give away all of their money to charity, and of course he wants to keep it all for himself, and so he finds a doppelganger through AI technology. By the way, that is one of the main differences between this movie and the book, because in the book this doppelganger is actually his mistress, and then this doppelganger starts impersonating Anne and pretty much does sign away all of her money to Bullmer. Lo is then able to survive all of the assassination attempts and is able to swim. I thought this was a little bit unrealistic, as the doctor was saying that the water would have been freezing, but despite that, through the adrenaline, Lo is able to reach shore, warm herself up, and then convinces Nissen to join them, and I thought this was also unrealistic, as Nissen seemed so tied to Bullmer. Speaking of Bullmer, he then gets properly and fully exposed, and everybody is able to see what a true evil guy he really is, and then he gets assassinated himself, this time by Nissen, and they all seem to live happily ever after. So let's go through all of the cast and characters now. So Keira Knightley did a really good job in terms of playing this really driven journalist who isn't afraid of tackling big stories, and I thought it was interesting how she was originally invited by the real Anne to go on board this luxury cruise, and it was supposed to be a holiday and then ends up being this big crazy case. I thought Guy Pearce did a good job in terms of playing the epitome of an evil billionaire Bullmer, and then kills his cancerous wife in cold blood to be able to keep all of their money for himself. Love the fact that Kaya Scodelario was in this movie, as of course she was pretty much playing the younger version of Keira Knightley's Elizabeth Swann in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. And over here she is playing Grace, who is pretty much there to make all of the billionaires look good. Love the fact that Hannah Waddingham was in this movie. I feel like she fitted into this rich billionaire lifestyle really well, as did David Morrissey too. It was really sad that her former lover Ben had to die pretty much trying to save her life, even though he did pretty much tell everybody about the hair strand that Lo was able to find, which totally added to her paranoia, because everybody is making her feel mad. She is then being a little bit claustrophobic as a result of this, and now the one person that she thought she can trust, she doesn't know if she can trust them. But equally, if you look at it from Ben's point of view, is he really willing to sacrifice everything that he has built up so far for this theory that his former lover has? I thought Art Malik was really good as this evil, nefarious doctor who is going to kill Lo in cold blood, but then accidentally kills Ben after he is trying to protect Lo's life. I also loved all of the upside downside look. I feel like they could have explored that a little bit more. For example, all of these rich billionaires living in all of the light, all of the space, all of the luxuries at the top, and then all of the workers are living in much more secluded, claustrophobic space right at the bottom. I do feel like they could have done a little bit more with all of the other supporting character friends, as they didn't really contribute much to the storyline, and they were pretty much just there as alternative guesses of who the real murderer is. Speaking of which, it followed a little bit of the same blueprint that the first Knives Out did in terms of revealing this pretty much at the halfway point, and then the rest of the movie changes from being a murder mystery where typically you find out who the murderer is right at the end, whereas in this case it turns into a little bit of a true thriller at the end. So overall, I actually really enjoyed The Woman in Cabin 10, even though it has got a little bit of a slow start, even though it could have utilized certain characters a little bit more effectively, and also could have had a couple more clues and sequences taking place. I do actually think it's a lot better than everybody is saying it is, and so for all of those reasons, I'm going to give it a solid 7 out of 10. Now I'd love to hear from you. What did you think of The Woman in Cabin 10? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.